年生きてきた証がそれしかない私って。ぼっちちゃん顔やばいって。
Hey guys, how you doing? It's KonaKona. This year's seasonal fall release of new shows that come out have been proven to be some of the biggest bangers that we have got this year. What can be considered the internet's first ever actual original waifu just got a reboot, bringing it from the dark ages to 2022 and was decently praised. Spy X Family Season 2 has finally been released and is just as funny and wacky as the last season. Bleach decided to come back from the grave with a new season, 1000 Year Blood War. And the most anticipated anime to come out all of this year, Chainsaw Man, is currently living up to all of its hype. But under all the shonen, gore, and child care, there was one anime that went under most people's radar until it came out, and boy were they missing out. Lucky Star 2, baby, hell yeah! Nah, I'm just screwing with you. It's Bocchi The Rock. Now, we've all had our fair share of K-On!, a show about 4 and later 5 girls who join up to form a band, getting into mishaps and problems on their way to the top. But it's been what, almost 12 years since that show ended on a pretty good note, and you're probably saying to yourself, well, there wasn't really much of a story driving this show, but it was pretty cute and I want a new modern take on that premise, but with a little something more to it. If that is the case, then this is the show for you. Originating from a 4-panel manga written by Aki Hamaji, Bocchi The Rock is a show about, you guessed it, Bocchi. Bocchi The Rock? No, not that kind of rock, this kind of rock. And Bocchi has a bad case of social anxiety. Like, a very bad case. Like being locked up in a closet for 12 years with no human interaction kind of case. But over the years, Bocchi has been teaching herself how to play the guitar in hopes that someday she could be a part of a famous band and have people go crazy for her. Eventually, while she is walking down a street, she is stopped by a girl looking for a new guitarist since their last one left, dragging our poor Bocchi to a local underground club to join their band. And that is where the anime's plot starts to take form. And so far, it's been pretty good. From the 7 episodes that I've seen from it, and I have been regularly keeping up with the manga since the anime hit, and I have to say, there are a lot of things to praise this anime for. With it being animated by Cloverworks, the same ones who brought you Horimiya, Spy X Family, and My Dress Up Darling, it was pretty much destined to have the levels of editing that a lot of shonen action shows wish they could have. With over-the-top hand movements that a lot of people wouldn't really notice on their first watch, the expressions on the characters' faces, and actual fluid walking animation, not to mention the level of color and beauty put into the background and characters. And yes, they are in a band, so the music does kind of matter, but they have only played like one song the entire 7 episodes that are running so far. So all I can really say is the first one was pretty good, but until more comes out, I'll have to get back to you on that. It can also be pretty funny and surprisingly creative at times. Heavily over-exaggerating Bocchi's panic attacks to things that she isn't comfortable with is some of the funniest shit I've seen in a very long time. Or the moments where you're pulled from the anime and shown a very well done clay animation, or the characters being controlled by popsicle sticks for a gag. Not really needed, but well appreciated creativity that wasn't even a thing in the original manga. Another thing I like about the show so far is how well the characters do with each other and working off of one another. Of course, with the anime being centered around these 4 girls, it kinda wouldn't really make much sense for them to be just a bunch of assholes to each other, if you know what I mean. But that does not mean that they don't tease or point out the other's shortcomings. Like how Bocchi and her friends, Nijika and Ryu, practice with her to see how well she plays in a group, and both pretty much come to the agreement that she plays well by herself, but absolutely sucks at playing with others. Or the time when Bocchi had to write lyrics for their song, and they blatantly blast Bocchi for how bleak and sad her song lyrics are. Yeah, basically a large core of the anime is centered around lightly roasting Bocchi, figuratively and literally. But they prove to be good friends in the fact that they don't hold back on what they feel about each other and how they go out of their way to help each other and to help Bocchi come out of her shell to stem away from what she is and become the person that she wants to be. And that is the biggest thing that I love about this show so far. You see, a lot of anime of its kind that features a character that's gone through some sort of social anxiety or anything like that either doesn't really work with a story or is not really represented all that accurately. And yes, Komi-san is one of those anime. That show couldn't have handled the topic any worse than it did. But in terms of representing the problems of social anxiety and the mental pain that comes from it, there's no anime that I've seen that does it as well as Bocchi The Rock does. The anime has a very smart way of showing the differences between regarding having social anxiety and being an introvert, in the form of Rio. Rio is much like Bocchi in the sense that she doesn't do very well around other people, doesn't talk much when around others, giving short witty comments on whatever is transpiring in the moment, and finding weird wacky ways to get out of group hangouts, though Rio's tactics are a little bit more scummy. But I'm a sucker for kuderes, so I'll let it go, Rio. I'll let you go. I won't let you go. You're staying in the cage. Go, get back in the jar. But that is pretty much where the two split on their similarities. Because unlike the introverted Rio, who actively tries to be solo and has no problem with being in her own little world, Bocchi only really keeps to herself because she doesn't know how to socialize that well. Not that she necessarily doesn't want to be around people. Deep down in her own thoughts, she wants to get out there and have people like her, but doesn't quite know how to since she spent so long keeping to herself throughout her school life. Having thoughts in her head such as, would it be okay for me to join in and have fun with the other kids? Or am I allowed to? And I need to change. Hence her wanting to start a band so that people would go crazy for her performances, while also giving herself something to do to make herself happy. Second and finally, the anime makes strides when it comes to pacing Bocchi's progression, not resolving all of her problems within a few episodes, but slowly building up her confidence with the help of her friends by having her interact with customers at the drink bar, having her band meetings to make decisions, and Bocchi helping out their newest member learn how to play guitar. Because realistically, unlike K-On! Where the main character Yui just immediately becomes all talkative and jumpy with her new friends, social anxiety isn't something that can just go away or be forgotten about and within a short amount of time, but takes time and small steps to slowly open up a person to doing things more out of their comfort zone to make them more confident in themselves. And that is something I greatly appreciate this story for doing. So in conclusion, Bocchi The Rock so far has been many things. Another great work of animation by Cloverworks, a funny well-written comedy about 4 girls starting a band, and a great representation of battling social anxiety in which the likes that I have never seen. If this sounds like a show that you're interested in, then please check it out for yourself, and I promise you won't regret it. Especially if you face sort of the same situation that Bocchi finds herself in. Well, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, subscribe, and if you have any anime that you would like for me to review, then please give me a suggestion in the comments below. I also have a Discord server for the YouTube channel in the description, so if you're interested in that, then go ahead and join. We have quite riveting conversations in that place. This has been KonaKona, and I will see you later on.
Bye.